Hi there and welcome to High School Sports Zone. We're here at Glebe today for the first matchup of the senior boys regular season in rugby. Glebe and Nepean are meeting up. We'll have highlights of that game a little later on in the program. We'll also take a look at boys lacrosse. We'll go down to Minto Field where we have a number of games for you this week. And in Tier 1, junior girls and junior boys volleyball, we have championship highlights in the third segment of the show. But as I mentioned, we've got senior boys rugby highlights. We'll take a look at this Glebe Nepean game, but before we get to that, we have Longfields-Davidson Heights meeting up with St. Peter.
The senior boys rugby season opened with last year's city finalist St. Peter taking on Longfields-Davidson Heights. The St. Peter Knights showed early on why they were the city finalists with the try by number 13, Alex Lowry, who made it 5-0. After a few relay passes to the left, the Knights got their second try, 10-0 for St. Peter's. With a rush that went from the right side all the way across the field to number 2, Quinn, Nathan Stencil finished it with the try, 15-0. Number 22, Raza Murshahai followed up with the conversion to make it 17-0. Number 1, Damon Adams for St. Peter couldn't be stopped as he led a run all the way for the try, followed up by the conversion to make it 24-0. Number 11, Adam Van Veen got yet another try for the Knights as he made it 29-0. Starting the second half where they left off, St. Peter's offense was there with a beastly try by number 27, Danton Blair, to make it 34-0 for St. Peter's. And that was the game, with St. Peter's starting off the season hot with the win over Longfields-Davidson Heights. Final score 58-0. For High School Sports Zone, I'm Keenan Kreller.
Last season's AAA Boys Rugby champs, Nepean, opened the 2016 season on the road at Glebe. Glebe's number 15 got them on the scoreboard first when he kicked the ball into the scoring zone, 3-0 for Glebe. Nepean's number 15, Shuchuk, had a nice run going for him until he got taken down. Once again, number 15 of Glebe earned his team 3 points for kicking the ball into the scoring area, 6-0 Glebe. Nepean's number 7, Hancock, juked a few players, ran for it, but got taken down. Nepean earned their first try of the game and also their first try of the season, 6-5 for Glebe. Number 15, Shuchuk, finished the play with a kick, making it 7-6. Glebe had a scoring chance to take the lead once again, but they missed the kick, 7-6 for Nepean. Nepean's number 11, Cian Fagalone, got them a try to add 5 more points to their lead. Shortly after, Nepean successfully kicked the ball to earn 2 points. Nepean came out with a 14-6 victory. For High School Sports Zone, I'm Justin Gencher.
We'll take a look at boys lacrosse now. Our first matchup has Mother Teresa meeting up with Osgoode. We saw in last week's show that Osgoode lost their first game in the regular season to South Carleton. We'll see if they could bounce back against a strong Mother Teresa side.
Mother Teresa hoped to bounce back from their first loss of the season in boys lacrosse when they met Osgoode at Minto Field. Early on, Mother Teresa's number 21, Tass, scored an early goal to give his team a 1-0 lead. Osgoode's number 2, McCrae, responded with a goal of her own to tie the game up at 1. Close to the end of the half, Titans' number 21, Tass, fed number 22, McKinnon, for his second goal of the game to give Mother Teresa a 2-1 lead at halftime. Panthers' number 20, Melvin, scored early into the half to tie the game at 2. Mother Teresa's number 24, Keith, passed it over to number 9, Davis, for the one-timer to give his school a 3-2 lead. Shortly after, Titans' number 22, McKinnon, scored his second goal of the game to extend their lead to 5-2. Right after the next faceoff, McKinnon scored the hat-trick goal to make it 6-2 for Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa's number 24, Keith, scored his second goal of the game to make it 7-2 for Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa won 10-3 and were able to bounce back from their last game. South Carleton looked to improve to 5-0 on the boys lacrosse season when they faced off against John McCrae. Early in the game, South Carleton's number 8, Sloan, scored to give his team the early 1-0 lead. Later on, his teammate number 7, Downey, scored his own goal to give South Carleton a 2-0 lead. John McCrae's number 16, Mercier, received a pass from number 2, Chiron, and put it in the back of the net to cut the lead down to 2-1. Storm's number 72, Jernan, and number 8, Sloan, went end-to-end, with Jernan getting the goal to give the Storm a 3-1 lead. Right before halftime, Sloan scored his own goal to give South Carleton a 4-1 lead at halftime. Early in the second half, Bulldogs number 5, Patterson, scored to cut the lead in half to 4-2 for South Carleton. 5 minutes later, his teammate number 16, Mercier, scored his second goal of the game to pull his team back to within one at 4-3. South Carleton's number 77, Tkachuk, was able to pass it over to number 96, Adam Johnston, to extend their lead to 5-3. John McCrae's number 14, Frigates, was able to fend off the Storm defenders and put it in the back of the net to cut the lead down to 5-4 for South Carleton. Storm's number 7, Downey, fed its number 92, Driscoll, who scored to give South Carleton the 6-4 lead. Their teammates, number 77, Tkachuk, passed it over to number 11, Alex Johnson, who was able to put it in the back of the net to extend their lead to 7-4. Tkachuk near the end of the game was able to beat off the defenders and scored. South Carleton won 8-4 and moved to 5-0 on the season. For High School Sports Zone, I'm Kyle Waddell.
After losing their season opener, West Carleton hoped to bounce back as they faced off Nepean in boys lacrosse. Nepean's number 9, Carter, started the game off with a strong shot which ended up in the back of the net, 1-0 Nepean. Nepean's number 13, Dylan, added another point to the lead, making it 2-0. West Carleton attempted to get their first goal, but their shot got denied. Number 7, Ethan of Nepean, scored to make their lead 3-0. Carter got a second goal of the game, which gave Nepean a 4-0 lead. Ethan also got a second goal and the last goal of the game. Nepean came out with a 5-0 victory.
We'll have more rugby later on in the program as we take a look at the junior boys division, but after the break, we'll take a look at more girls soccer.